UTJ. So we'll just go ahead and we'll try that again. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dads on Wrestling recap show. Thank you all for coming here on YouTube. Appreciate that. If you can't hear us, let us know, because it's saying the mics are muted, and you know they're not. So I hit the unmute, but we'll go ahead and let's see. JJ, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. There we go. Very good. All right. There we go. Okay. So, for those of you going, what is going on? Why is this a post show when we didn't have a show on video? I had technical issues this week. Fun times. So, what I ended up doing was just having the actual show be audio, and then JJ decided we should do a video post game show, if you will, kind of like we do for trivia. And Jay has a actual random Friday off, so here we sit. And for those of you wondering why I chose the wardrobe, I'm completely trolling JJ. I'm being a douche about it because this guy, who is a Roddy Piper aficionado, left him off his list. So shame on you.
Let's just be real. It's called what it is. I'm a Piper Mark.
Hey, okay, all right. I detest using that word because it has a negative connotation to it, right? But
there are very few wrestlers or anything pop culture where I will openly admit that I'm a mark for.
Right.
Piper is one of those things.
Absolutely.
I'm a Star Wars mark. I'm a superhero movie mark. I'm a fucking Roddy Piper mark. I don't care.
Absolutely.
Is it the anonymous Raw general manager?
Kinda. So, actually, it's the anonymous Henderson Hottie.
Oh yeah, not so anonymous.
Not so anonymous, but that's okay.
I sent her the URL so that if she wanted to watch the stream, she could.
Oh, there you go. Well, yeah, actually, I had to tell her we were going on stream because I had to tell her I had to keep myself from the giggle fest, and I'll explain to you why later.
Yeah, okay.
But
But yeah, I'm a huge Piper mark. I have been, and I owe a lot of it to Teresa.
Of course.
Because she was a huge Piper fan when I met her. You know, her favorite from the old days and growing up.
Definitely.
And I was a Piper fan when I met her, but she turned me into a Piper mark. And then Roddy himself just kind of escalated it along.
As he do.
I mean, rest in peace.
Yeah.
The last time I met the man at SummerSlam Access, I will never forget this encounter with him. As I won't forget any of them, let's be real. But this one holds a special place in my heart, not just because it was the last, but because of what he said to me. You know, me and Teresa were there in line, and there was a guy in front of us, and he was having the Hot Rod sign his action figure, you know. And then we got up there, it was our turn, and she did her thing with him, and he looks at me and he's like, you know, how many action figures do you think there are of me? And for whatever reason, he thought the number was much lower. He was like, what, do you think there's probably like a dozen, 20 maybe? I was like, dude, there's probably close to 50.
Yeah.
Because you've got to add in the old school Hasbros and the WCW figures and everything. And he was like, I didn't even think about those.
Yep.
And he was like, you know what? If I were about 20, 30 years younger, you would make a hell of a tag team partner. Oh.
Right.
To get that kind of compliment from the Hot Rod.
Yeah. Yeah, I will never, ever, like, it's one of those things where, you know, moments in time stay indelibly marked in your brain, right? I will never forget where I was and who I was with when I found out Roddy died. Because I literally opened up my phone in the middle of Teresa's living room and read the news. And I was like, dude, it was meant to be that I was here. because I was still reeling from Dusty, right? And now I had to bear the burden of telling the two of you that Roddy had passed. I was like, oh God, this is where being a brother sucks.
I was at work at Goodwill when I read about it, and I remember the first thing I did was text Teresa.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Right. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, and she like, it had to be 20 seconds after I had told her that your text came in. It was like, wow. Like it was powerful. It's, you know, again, you remember certain things. I, as funny as this sounds, but I guess it's not really that funny. You know, the weeks and days after my car accident in 2001, you know, I remember little bitty snippets of recovery in the hospital over the next week and coming home and having to be cared for, you know, as far as, you know, monitor when I'm in the shower. That way you don't, you know, fall or, you know, pass out or whatever, right? The morning of September 11th is forever embedded in my skull. I'll never, it just lays out. My dad comes in about, you know, whatever time the first plane hit, the shit started hitting the fan, because it was back in New York, so it was 3 hours ahead of us. So my dad is getting ready to go to work, as he always does, before 6:30 every morning. He's like, you know, Jeff, you gotta wake up, something's going on. I'm still half concussed. Like, leave me the hell alone, right? Just go away. 8 o'clock or 8:30, my grandmother rolls in. You know, God love her. You know, she was watching over me because my parents worked. They're not going to have, you know, they can't take time off work to, you know, watch over a concussion boy. It's just not going to work that way. So grandmother comes in and she's telling me, you know, trying to tell me the same thing. You know, she's trying to wake me up and jostle me or whatever. I'm just like, So 11:30 comes along, and as the routine goes with grandmother and I, it's Young and the Restless time, because that's what we've done my entire life. If she's around and I'm around, we converge. So I walk out of which is my room at the time. Now it's my mom's dwelling. I walk out of the room and I turn the corner into the living room, and not 2 seconds after I turn the corner, the replay of the second plane hit goes across CBS. And other than showering or sleeping in my bed, I did not leave the corner of the couch for 3 days. I couldn't tear myself away from the television. It was our generation's JFK, right? Like you like, it's so bad, and it just keeps getting bad, but you can't make yourself not watch. That stuff sticks out to me. Stuff like, you know, Roddy's passing, Dusty's passing, you know, I'm sure, you know, for a huge chunk of the modern day fan, what happened to Shad Gaspard this week is going to stick in their minds forever, because it's so, with what's happening in the world right now with the COVID and everything, and having to, you know, stay cooped up, and the ability to decoop, if you will, and then have tragedy hit, you know, it's just, there's so many layers to that onion. Like, it's crazy. But
yeah,
with
and
Roddy,
the fact that he went out like a hero too, you know, telling the lifeguards, "Save my son first."
Yeah,
and then
this has
another
been
wave crashed on him, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, there's just, you know, it's, you know, I kind of half joked about it, you know, yesterday on the Nerdy Q review, but it's, you know, if I don't know how to swim in a pool or whatever, but there's a reason I don't swim in the ocean, whether I know how or not, because Shad knew how, and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So the ocean is a unforgiving beast. So, you
Just
know,
ask Moana.
I don't. What's that?
So just ask Moana.
Said it. Hey, Moana knows. Moana knows. I'll tell you
throw
what.
that in there because I did notice the little pin a while ago from Stat Boy about being a Disney mark. So figured as soon as the opportunity presented itself, had to throw a little Disney reference in there.
Well, speaking of Stat Boy,
I see that. Please tell the Crime Time story from last year. All right, so October 5th, 2019, Stat Boy's birthday. We find out, well, I had found out beforehand, thanks to our good buddy Gino Rivera, who If you want a lesson in the art of promotion on Facebook, follow Gino Rivera. Because not only does he lead by example, but God damn it, he's got no problem verbally educating motherfuckers on there to tell them what it is that they need to do to get
What it
themselves over.
is. That's it.
But because of our good buddy Gino Rivera, who had been promoting his upcoming show for Cactus League Wrestling, I believe was the name of the promotion, CLW.
Sounds
They
right.
were going to run a promotion show out here in Pomona. They're Arizona based. But they were going to run a show out here, and it just so happened to be Mikey's birthday, or at least Mikey's birthday weekend. If it wasn't the 5th, it was the 4th, whatever.
Somewhere close.
So I showed him the flyer. And at this point, I don't think Crime Time had been added to it yet, but the main draw was Billy Gunn. And Mikey, of course, being a DX fan from way back, wanted to meet Billy Gunn. So he got his book together like he always does so that he could present it to Billy. Billy's not the point of the story, though. At the show as well were Crime Time, Shad and JTG. And we get in there, you know, once we get inside to the Fox Theater there in Pomona, and we start working our way down the line of vendors and people there for autographs and whatnot. You know, Mark Henry's there to do something for the show. Archer, Lance Archer, Vance Archer, whatever he's going by now, the former Lance Hoyt.
The maybe soon to be next AEW TNT champion. So there you go.
Was there. And there were Crime Time. And by this point, they had actually been added to the show, Open Challenge. Me and Mikey saw them. And it was like kids in a candy store, dude. You should have seen our faces light up. As great as the experience that we had just had with Billy was, the experience with Crime Time was just as good, if not better.
Right.
And getting to talk to Shad and JTG and me talking to them about the Frisco fiasco.
Yes.
Which is where I had met them prior. The picture I had shared on my Throwback Thursday on my Instagram.
Were they around back then? Like, I remember them being around then.
They had been around and they had just been released by WWE.
When was the Frisco fiasco?
I want to say that was 07 or 08.
I could have sworn it was before I met you. Damn. Okay. Anyway. Sorry.
Because it was prior to Teresa being pregnant.
Right. Because I remember she was along for the ride, but for some reason, I had it in my head. But I guess it wouldn't make sense if it was before I met you because
she wasn't there for that. She wasn't there for the Frisco fiasco.
Well, no. What I mean is she was in your life with him. But
yeah.
I guess what it was is I imagine it was before we met, but that can't be the case because you and I meeting and you and her meeting are almost like the same time. So
yeah,
yeah,
because we met at Gorilla,
right?
So
anyway,
yeah, it had to have been 07 or 08.
Okay.
Met them up there, chit-chatted with them. You know, I was wearing my Crime Time shirt in that picture.
Right.
But just talking to them about it, showing them the picture, and Shad having a memory like an elephant.
Yes.
Like he may not have remembered me or the meeting, but he remembered that show.
Yeah.
He remembered that autograph session. He remembered that it was in Frisco.
Yeah.
And all the little details about it.
Right.
You know, you see Mikey's little pin there. He just marked out at the fact that Shad had that much of a memory about it. JTG couldn't remember half of that shit.
I'm thinking it doesn't surprise me.
But so, you know, talking to them and reminiscing, it was just a phenomenal experience to catch back up with them 10 years later almost.
Right.
You know, and yeah, we had seen JTG, as we mentioned, chatting with each other, you know, back in Vegas for the pipe bomb.
Right.
We've got that group shot of me, you, Stat Boy, and the Lady Killer, Ray Larkin,
Yep.
along with JTG.
Yep.
But to know that that's now the last time that I'm ever going to see Big Shad.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, Vegas was interesting. We got a great group shot of us with JTG. Kind of an Andre-esque. I was gonna say kind of an Andre-esque picture of Dolph Ziggler with the group. It was just you and I with John.
Yeah, I was gonna say our shot with Cena, where I continuously get cropped out of that one.
That was a one-time crop, and I did post the unedited version later. I just was selfish and I like John, so I just
You're trolling me. I had to troll you a bit.
That's okay. And there's a great shot of us with Lawler. I love that shot to pieces. I use that every year when the King has a birthday. The one I'm disappointed with. Well, okay, yeah, the interaction is great because we get on video, and she's just so damn cute because she's Vicky, and she just does. She's cute. The picture disappoints me is the Booker shot. That sucks. It's like, because it's unfortunately Booker's so dark, and the light was just like it was a horribly set up shot.
Yeah.
So it just didn't work out. So hopefully if Mania does indeed come here next year, we'll have to rectify that with Booker, since he's still with the company.
Just want to mention, I saw the little pin pop up for, I think his name was Colin. What's
right,
up, Colin?
Yep. Yeah, there's all kinds of, everybody's coming in. Mick Doherty's here, and Mikey says need to see that pic again. Are you talking about the group shot, Mikey? Like which group shot? Because I can make that happen really quick.
Yeah,
so.
Seriously. Anybody that's joining us, please feel free to ask a question, mention somebody that you think should have been a former world champion that maybe we and Jeff forgot on the list. We can chat it up a bit real quick about that.
There you go. And honestly,
this will not be an every week situation because it's rare that I get a Friday off. So
right.
Maybe on the Fridays where I do get a day off, if it's a Friday where our show has gone live, we can do something like this again. But it's definitely not going to be an every week thing. So please, by all means, fans, take advantage of the situation.
Exactly. I wholeheartedly agree. Okay, so Mikey says JTG, so bear with me, Mr. Caldwell. There it is. Wow, that's actually a bad lit shot too. Like Mikey, you can barely see Mikey's face. It's so shaded. Dude, hats are not our friend, unfortunately.
No. Not when it comes to pictures.
No, but you know what?
It does wonders to cover up our receding hairlines.
Well, but back then your head of hair was fantabulous, so you didn't have to worry about that shit.
That's right. I had Dolph Ziggler hair, baby.
Yeah, I was already in dad hair mode already, so it wasn't happening. All right, let's see if I can do this without a freaking monumental train wreck here. Let's see. First of all, we do that. So, yeah, basically, when we do dads, hopefully there'll be video going forward. But they just, like I said, it was a technical spaz, and it just didn't work out. So
we can
we'll do a little recap here, and
video again later.
Right, it won't be a I'm done with it, the hell with it. It'll just be take a step back and go, okay, it's pissing me off. Let it be. Because the same thing, woosah. The same thing happened with Rewind. Like I don't know what happened with Rewind. Like not only did the video fragment into two pieces, but they won't save together and they won't transfer into audio together. I'm just completely what the fucking. Like I don't understand why. So I'm just gonna have to, unfortunately, take the time I was gonna spend and not consciously not work this weekend and work. So it's like
gotta do what you gotta do to make that paper, man.
Exactly, man. Gotta make that paper. I love it. So the other one that surprised me that I mentioned on the air with you that surprised me you didn't say, and I don't even think I had him on my list either, although maybe I did. I'll have to look at my list again because we canned stuff a while ago. So
that's why I wanted to listen to it before we went live.
Right. Yeah, he was my number 5. William Regal on your list really surprised me.
Again, like I said on the broadcast, you have to remember what happened in the 24, 48 hours leading into that filming.
Right.
And I was a wreck. Things were happening, and the fact that I was able to come up with as coherent of a list as I did,
Yeah, definitely.
it was inevitable that something was going to be left out. But
Certainly.
if I could take it back, I definitely would put Regal and Piper both on my list, both within my top 5.
Right, for sure. Yeah. I
Because
know.
number 3, having been Andre, was already someone that needed to be replaced, so either one could easily fit in there. And
Right,
then,
definitely. And yeah,
could take out one of the others very, very easily to have put the other one in.
yep. Yeah. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. People are,
And
it's funny. People are
even
kind of
knowing, sorry, I was going to say, even knowing that you were going to have
it's
DiBiase
okay.
on your list, I could have just totally scrapped him and left everything about that to you and thrown one of them in his spot.
Right.
Because then
Right.
they
Well,
would
because
have been
yeah,
in the top 4. Because Andre and DiBiase
I
were
agree
3
with
and
that.
4. So had I got rid of them,
Yeah,
Regal and Piper and Regal could have been 3 and 4.
exactly. Okay, I hit the wrong thing, so bear with me. Yeah, and I have not been quiet about my dislike of DiBiase's lack of recognition. So he was my number one, regardless of who was 2 through 10.
Yeah,
Like,
I knew he would
yes,
be.
even Roddy, yes, even Owen Hart, yes, even Scott Hall. Ted DiBiase was legitimately recognized as the world champion, and it was written from him. Yes, in storyline, but really, it's still not cool, you know?
Yeah.
So, all right. Mikey, I will grant your request, sir. Let me bear with me here. Let's see if we can get to work without a train wreck. Okay, so it's not the whole picture, but there you go. So left to right is Stat Boy, circa 2011, and his not quite porn star stash. That is
His
me,
faded as hell Shawn Michaels circa 96-97 t-shirt.
because it's from 96, 97. That's why it's so faded.
Looks like a
Yeah,
swap meet version too. It doesn't even look like an authentic WWE version.
yeah, right. Me with my my over branding Long Beach Clothing Company attire. Good grief, Charlie Brown.
Yep.
Dude, we gave those guys so much promotion, and we didn't get really a whole lot of dick out of that. That's awful.
You know what? We got a place to film, and we got
We did.
much.
We did, and it's so funny. One of my favorite King shirts to this day is the Kings of Long Beach shirt. So
Yep.
there you go. JTG there in the middle. There's the Lady Killer Ray Larkin, who I don't think has been on that video with me since the F. Jeff Meacham Hooters incident. I don't think,
Possibly.
and that's been 7 years, because Dylan was still a wee lad, and there you are in the
Prophetic
CM Punk shirt, considering what happened that night. Yeah, seriously,
because that was the day of the pipe bomb.
Yep, it was. God, I can't get over that. That was 9 years ago. Next month, like the hell.
I know, right? Like, can you believe it's been that long?
Yeah, and when you think about it, it's like that's both of our kids' lives advanced 11 years. Like, your daughter was like this big when we went to Vegas. That's crazy. Absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah.
So, Lever on Andrew with a question in the chat room. I'm going to throw it up there. It's not really related to the topic, but you know what? It's Friday. It's casual Friday. I don't give a shit.
Whatever.
Thoughts on if Jon Moxley had his role currently in AEW in the WWE when he was champion? Again, JJ's not a current watcher, but I'll go ahead and roll with mine, and then we'll see what he has to add in there. I don't think Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose, was ever slated to be the guy in WWE, even when he was WWE champion. That transitional period from Roman getting suspended, having to drop the title, getting it to Seth, and then Dean cashing in Money in the Bank the same night he won the briefcase to win the championship was, okay, I want a babyface champion to drop to AJ at Backlash, but Roman has to go away. Boom. Dean Ambrose. And it made for the, oh my God, the entire Shield held the title in one night. That's a moment in history that will never be changed because the entire membership of the Shield were all WWE champion in the span of one pay-per-view. That's like Evolution didn't do that. The Four Horsemen didn't do that. DX didn't do that. That's history. So yeah, it was a wonderful moment, but he was never destined to be the guy.
I can agree with that. You know, I know Ambrose was around when I was still watching because the Shield was around.
Right.
And I remember me, you, Alan, and Christian having our own spin on the Shield at the King's Games. The Hounds of the Crown, as Alan liked to call us.
With me as the Heyman, which never worked out, but you know.
He as the Heyman guy, always rocking his trench coat and baseball hat to the King's Games.
Even in summer games in June because I'm an idiot. Yeah.
Hey, you know, sports fans are freaking religious with their superstitions. That was one of yours, man. Your trench coat and your hat. But,
and that beard is, you know, yeah. Ooh.
I echo your sentiment. I don't think I ever saw anything in Ambrose, at least at that time, to where he was going to be the guy for long. To be fair, I never saw anything in Jinder Mahal.
Right.
WWE champion. And I believe he had a decent run with it. I mean, it was definitely after I stopped watching. But,
much longer than we thought he would, yeah.
So, you know, that's about as much as I can throw in on that topic there, Colin. Like Jeff said, like I've said on the shows, I don't watch that much anymore. I do occasionally see some AEW because my roommate is kind of getting into it. And with the indie level talent that are on that show, the guys that me and Jeff would see at Gorilla, I sometimes peek my head in to see if they're on a segment or whatever. But I don't really have the knowledge to go much deeper into that question than I did.
The existence of SCU, those three guys as a unit, named just tugs at my fandom heartstrings, and it's. I love those three guys to death. Always have, especially Frankie and Sky. Chris and I, we got along on okay, but like we weren't like buddies like Frankie and I or Sky and I, right? And it warms my heart that all of them have this opportunity on a global stage.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I will remember the first time I met Christopher Daniels till the day I died because it was at one of those UPW shows. I want to say the 5th anniversary show. And I talked to him a little bit because I had discovered UPW throughout their KDOC show that was short-lived.
Yep, I remember.
And I had mentioned that to him, and he kind of like did the facepalm, was like, oh, that show was such a disaster. I was like, it may have been.
Yeah.
But it did earn you at least one new fan. Because I didn't know about the product until I saw it. Here I am on the show now.
Yep, exactly. Well, she plugged there again. And stuff is great. His live streams are good. His videos are good. You know, I can't recommend all those guys enough. All the peripheral peeps, if you will, at the Jeff Meacham Network. I much appreciate it. Mikey is marking out for the JTG pick in the chat room. I haven't put his pins up there, but just because he's throwing up like crazy. But he also says I should bring back the beard. I'll tell you what, Mikey. If I bring back the beard, it'll only be when the Kings get good enough for me to bring back the beard. And I'll go you one further. If the Kings get good enough to bring back the beard and the Ducks ruin the day, I will do something Ducks related on the air.
Ooh.
Like positive.
Ooh. Make note of this, fans out there in Jeff Meacham land.
Because honestly,
going to do something positive about the Ducks. Not the movie Ducks, the real Ducks. Okay.
And, you know, honestly, I look back and I go, yeah, that was a wonderful, fun thing, growing that god-awful facial hair 2 out of 3 seasons, right? It was fun. but I do not intend to do it again, even if the Kings are playing in June, right? But
So you're going to take a page out of the JJ playbook and trim it down a little bit in between.
oh no! If no, now that I'm committed on air, I am going balls in, all in. I'm gonna have the straggly, obnoxious, like, no girl want to touch me within a 10-foot pole until the Kings are eliminated. So there you go. Now, the Ducks have to be the ones to eliminate the Kings. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. So, there could be first round matchups where, the Kings play so and so and the Ducks play so and so. Kings will make it past the first round and the Ducks do. Not my problem.
Yeah.
I will still I'll root
the Kings.
Right. I'll root against the Ducks the whole way anyway, because that's just what I'm going to do, because I'm just a bitter critter like that. So I'm not going to mess with it. But if the Ducks eliminate the Kings, I will do something positive, Ducks related. So,
okay.
Mikey, you know what, Mikey? I'll go you one better on your pin there. Stand by, sir, because I definitely want to get that out there, because Greg did an amazing job with this new piece of merchandise. So let me see if I can, again, do it without a freaking rigmarole here. I think I still have it saved in my. There it is. I got it. Yep.
While you're looking that up, since Mikey over here wants to chime in and get pins up every couple of seconds, does Mikey have somebody who should have been world champion that maybe we didn't mention on the show that we can pin and then talk about, instead of him just trying to get cheap plugs for himself up in here?
I'm
Between
wondering
the JTG picture, the Crime Time story, which was about his birthday, and now the T-shirt. I'm just saying, bro.
Wondering. Well, the thing is, he came to me close to the end of the original stream being live, asking me if I was going live with this show. I said, yeah, with JJ. He was like, cool, I'll be watching. I don't know if he got to watch the whole cast or listen to the whole bad. So keep that in mind also. But, if he happens to throw a name out there that, was already mentioned on the show, or that he feels, should be, then we'll totally throw it up there. But I'm also on Facebook right now, away from the chat window, so bear with me here.
Well, if he was a true stat boy, he would have his tablet listening to the stream and his laptop watching this right now. If he was a true stat boy.
We're brothers. We're calling each other out on the air.
I can do it. That's my little bro.
Oh, I know. Trust me. Yeah. Like you and I are about the only ones that can get away with it still. Too funny. Okay. Question, Mikey, is there a wrestler that was not named on either of our wrestlers who should have been world champion as defined by WWE? Now, again, if you didn't watch the show, first of all, damn it, the criteria is they can't have been any of the WWE world champions over the last 70 years. The WWE Championship, the Big Gold Belt World Heavyweight Championship, the Universal Championship, WCW Championship, ECW Championship, AWA Championship, pre-TNA NWA World Championship, and the WCW International World Championship that everybody bastardizes, but I recognize it, so there you go. They can't have held one of those. Mikey is actually exactly what you said he was supposed to be doing, so there you go.
Good stat boy.
That's a good stat boy. All right. Damn, this thing. The problem with streaming on the laptop is when you try to get the computer to load anything, it just loads and loads, and it doesn't load. It just freaking toggles. So, all right, I'll come back here for now. Anyway, somebody that I didn't mention, when we altered our criteria and said we're not going to have TNA branded NWA champions, I was like, damn, because R-Truth is definitely in the conversation. You know, Ron,
He was on my list.
you know, I love me some Ron, right? I do. And I don't know if I would have completely bought into R-Truth 2011 being the WWE champion, only because the character had already delved into the goofiness by the time Capital Punishment took place. I think if they'd immediately pulled the trigger and had him face Cena, you know, right away before it went into completely goof, I would have bought it. But TNA Truth would have made an awesome WWE champion.
Definitely.
So there's that.
And that was champion twice. So
right, exactly. So you know, yeah, he was a tremendous NWA champion. I before I canceled Impact Plus because you know, I was able to watch a lot of the early NWA TNA stuff, and his promos and his work in 2002 cannot be understated. It was really well done. Tim Davis has a very good point. I don't know if he was not on my list. I can't remember if he was on your list, so forgive me. Samoa Joe?
Samoa Joe was not on my list.
How did we forget Samoa Joe? Either of us. Knowing that you know what? I think maybe because he was Ring of Honor champion, the majority of the time we knew him, threw us off.
Possibly.
You know, because, you know, the time where he was accused of being mean to a certain somebody, you know, he was rocking that classic Ring of Honor title every show at PWG. So, it's that's weird. We didn't think of Joe. That makes me upset, honestly.
Joe's definitely a good one. Deserves to be in the conversation. If the list were extended to top 20, I definitely probably would have included him. But with the exception of the two kick myself in the asses that were omitted, I think I can stand behind everybody else on my list and say they deserved it more than Joe. Because Joe is still, I mean, I know he's no rookie, but he's still young in this business compared to some of those guys that never got the chance.
I would have to agree with that, absolutely.
And Joe is still hitting his stride. He's in the midst of his prime. You know, him being WWE
champion, he unfortunately has had.
I was just going to say, him being WWE champion in the foreseeable future is definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And honestly, I'd like to see it happen when they give AJ the strap again, so they can rejuvenate that old feud of Joe and Styles.
Well, they did that in the summer last year when AJ was champion and Joe was a heel, and he ended up it was so bad because like they ended up having Joe like stalk after Mrs. Styles. It was very weird, honestly. Knowing the two of them, like the two of them, it was like, huh. But you know, maybe if Joe comes back from the injuries he's dealing with and they reinvigorate his overall presentation, it might work. We'll see. So Mikey says, I would have to agree if you said Piper. He would have made a great champion. It's like Flair said, he made you cry, he made you riotous. Put a title on him, and you might have hated him even more. Yeah, I think I said on the air when I mentioned Roddy that have him beat Hogan at the World Settle the Score, or, you know, the Brawl in It All, and then carry it to Mania and have the main event be Hogan getting the belt back.
Yep.
So that's not, nuclear scientist booking. That's just good shit right there. So Mikey, since I answered your question, we're not coming back here. I don't care. I'm so glad I was there for that Hall of Fame. Swear to God. Oh man. So here's the Stat Boy shirt we were talking about. It's gonna walk up their face, so that's okay. This is a Greg Cherry design. You can find it at teespring.com/store/Greg Cherry brand. It is a redo, basically, of a shirt that Mikey himself had designed way back when, so far way back when, that our kids wore them as toddlers. They were all white with a red banner and the red lettering that you see in blue there. But if you notice, in the upper left-hand corner, there's a Facebook style thumbs up with the Greek flag in it, which was a Mikey touch, and then the hashtag WTC in the bottom right, which was, I originally had the WTC logo itself in that corner, and Greg, being the graphic genius that he is, decided it was better off that way. Here's an interesting suggestion that Mikey said that neither of us have thought of, maybe because he's so new. Baron Corbin. We mentioned, without spoiling too much, we're going to dive into Corbin on our King of the Ring discussion in a few weeks. But
we're going to rip into the meat on that bone positively, not negatively. Let me just
definitely
there, because when people hear "rip into," they automatically think the worst. But we're going to dive into the meat on the Baron Corbin bone when our King of the Ring show airs, which we just canned yesterday.
Yep.
But I tried not to touch current wrestlers because there's still time for them.
Yes,
I think
exactly.
that's why Joe didn't cross my mind, because he's actively on the WWE roster. And like I said, him being champion is going to happen.
Yeah, as long as they give him
Corbin, I think. I mean, based off of what I saw of him watching the King of the Ring, which again we'll get into on that show, I can see it happening. When? Another story. But the guys on our list, are predominantly guys that are either retired, dead, or just there's no chance. There's no chance in hell that it would happen with their current gimmick. Today's R-Truth isn't going to be world champion.
No, and honestly, the R-Truth gimmick for the 24/7 champion is amazing, and there needs to be a situation where he is at a summer camp NFL in Tampa Bay and just makes it happen, and it gets the belt back. So there's that. Tim Davis brings up a very interesting point that, as much as we follow the indies and have over the years, neither of us thought of this guy either. I'll throw it up there right now. Let me get the pin going. Claudio Castagnoli, Cesaro. Tag team champion many times over, all over the place, but never the guy anywhere except PWG. But we're not counting PWG because, we just...
It's an indie. It's an indie.
It's a big indie, but it's an indie.
Yeah. It's probably, dare I say, the second indie belt next to the ROH title.
There's a lot more companies out there now than there were, but as far as
the level of Gorilla,
well, okay, let me preface this with a couple things. I've not been to Gorilla in many years because they're in my the same price bracket for me as Disney at this point. I'm not kidding when I say that. Front row is over $100. So there's that. Second of all, I forever feel that their appeal at the time that you and I were going was bringing in the ROH guys, the TNA guys, to supplement and complement Joey, Scott, Sky, Bosch. The product now, I'm so and this is completely on me. I am not digging on PWG at all on this front. I am so unfamiliar with the current independent scene. Unless that talent has appeared on NXT or the WWE or AEW rosters or even NWA, I don't know who the hell you are. So I'm not going to spend, even for general admission, upwards of $50-$60 to go be educated on a product. I'm good.
Yeah. Not when the other companies like Battleground, which we were knee deep in, neck deep in for a while.
Right.
was only like $20.
Yeah, or I can catch a transit down to see Jesse in EWF, and not spend more than $20 and sit ringside, or hell, sit up in the control table, and just schmooze. I don't PWG. Okay, we're gonna go off in a little weeds here. I'm apologizing in advance for that right now, because it is Dad's on Wrestling, and I'm just gonna go wherever I want to go. PWG, when I started going, was a means to an end for. Are we No DQ? I think we're No DQ by then. For the NoDQ.com show, XMV at the time, to get access to the talent from the big companies. And we got crap for that, rightfully so, for not requesting to interview Scott, Joey, those guys. But then when I said, okay, we'll interview those guys, and I'll also volunteer to, set up the ring, help out whatever I can to help out. I just, I feel bad asking person A with my group, person B to pay for my ticket. Can I exchange my ring crew time, such and such time, in exchange for admission and access to the locker room for the show? And I was told at the time, sure, no problem. I came to find out later that the person I was talking to was in the minority of being okay with that. And it caused a lot of problems down the line. And you're aware of most of them. So, it's I have a very, very mixed bag when it comes to my feelings on PWG. However, the talent pool in any given point in their history cannot be denied of how awesome they are, right?
Oh, no, definitely. And like you said, especially around the time that we were first going, which I know you started going before I did.
Yes.
My first night was All-Star Weekend 1, Night 1, WrestleMania 21 weekend.
Which is the night we met. Officially.
But, just the talent level there, like you said, between the SoCal locals, you already named, Scott Lost, Chris Bosh, Joey Ryan, Super Dragon, Frankie Kazarian, who granted was on TNA at the time, as was Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe, but they were also SoCal legends, having all come through Ultimate Pro Wrestling, UPW.
Yep.
But then you factor in AJ Styles, Chris Sabin, P.D. Williams, Yeah. Then you factor in the ROH guys they were bringing in, Bryan Danielson, Chris Hero, Claudio Castagnoli. It was a hell of a talent pool, and a talent pool that WWE wished they could get their hands on, and now they've got quite a few of them, and so does AEW.
Yeah, and that's kind of my point. They had arguably the greatest non-WWE roster of the first part, the first decade of this century, okay? And they were charging $20 a head. Doable once a month. Now, again, I am ignorant on current indie talent, but I look at their cards back when the world was still real and we actually could go places, okay? Preface that. I would look at their cards, I go, I don't know who these people are, and I'm not going to spend that kind of money on people I don't know. I won't, okay. Let me even be further. I won't spend that kind of money on a WWE show.
Yeah.
I won't.
Unless
I
you're
will
going
not
to get the front row.
Right. If I'm sitting front row, then yeah, I will attempt to splurge. Now, WrestleMania being here next year changes that conversation completely.
Well,
obviously.
It's
WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania.
Yeah. You're not going to pay for a ticket to go to a Pop Warner football show what you're going to pay for a ticket to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's the best comparison you can make. And again, that's not a dig at Gorilla. I love my time having gone to Gorilla. Their move to Reseda and their price increase is what stopped me from going.
Right. I
look back fondly at my time going to Gorilla. But you're not going to pay the cost of a Pop Warner ticket the same as it costs to a ticket to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, especially when the Super Bowl's in my backyard this coming year.
Yeah.
And the fact is I have to save to get that kind of money into my pocket to show out for anything. So, if all things stay the way I think they're going to stay with Mania, we're going to see an Undertaker Hall of Fame induction. And I am more than willing to spend money for that, right? So, again, not trying to harp on PWG, but the point we're trying to make is, we didn't include PWG in the World Championship conversation. That while WWE has occasionally acknowledged PWG's existence and where some of these guys came from, like John Cena talked about a couple years ago when Kevin came in, they're not the end all be all indie fed like UPW would have been had they survived, like Ring of Honor has been, even as a no longer indie because they're owned by a corporation now. PWG, granted, has made a huge impact through tape trading, although it's not really called tape trading anymore. It's, whatever they call it in 2020 because I'm just old and don't give a shit. They're not as impactful as you and I felt they probably could have been. So that's why they weren't included, which is why Claudio was in this conversation, because yes, he's been PWG World Champion, but the fact that Claudio Castagnoli Cesaro has not been Ring of Honor Champion or WWE World Champion is a huge miscarriage of justice. So now that we completely buried ourselves where we're going to an indie show at the Globe Theater again, let's move right along, as they say.
Yes. Hello from Saudi Arabia. Hello from Rancho Cucamonga, California.
And hello from good old Santa Clarita. And if you don't know where Santa Clarita is, look toward the Magic Mountain Tower and go about 15 minutes that way.
So. And if you want to know where Rancho Cucamonga is, even though not really, watch next Friday.
That's right. Yeah. It's not actually Rancho Cucamonga, but it is.
Yeah, but that's where Craig moved with his uncle and Day Day in the sequel to the original Friday, was Rancho Cucamonga. It was still filmed in Los Angeles, but they moved to Rancho Cucamonga.
And, since you're going to go ahead and watch next Friday, watch Friday first, because damn it, you just should, just because. Yeah. So there's that. I love it. One of our guys in the chat room said, "You guys watching SmackDown?" a few minutes ago, and I was going to say no because I have it on in the background, but I'm kind of whatever. And he says, "Someone described the pandemic as the most boring apocalypse." No kidding.
I don't know. Have you seen X-Men Apocalypse?
No,
because that apocalypse looked like Ivan Ooze from the freaking Power Ranger movie. He was the most boring apocalypse.
Yeah. I again,
I'll give you this as the second most boring. But if you've seen X-Men Apocalypse, that was the most boring apocalypse.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen X-Men Apocalypse or Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, you're good.
Hey, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, the original first one, was fucking phenomenal. Turbo, on the other hand, was so horrible that God himself tried to prevent the Casa from watching it completely.
Yes, I remember that. Oh my God. We talked about watching that.
And if our friend Anderson goes back and rewatches this like she has told me she will, she should remember that as well.
Yeah, I wasn't around for that, but I've heard that story because I moved into Henderson Hottie's corner after they left. So it's that story is the stuff of legends. Oh my God. Yeah. It's bad. But you know what? I don't mind Mighty Morphin the movie so much. It's just, Ivan Ooze just killed it for me. It was like, really?
And
like, we spent the...
Little spoiler here, because we did do our franchises yesterday. For those of you at home watching, one of our next non-wrestling topics is going to be top 10 franchises for movies. Power Rangers.
And we thank you for watching that, by the way.
Power Rangers would have been on mine, but there's only 2 movies, and we said it had to at least be 3 movies. There's a shit ton of TV series for going off of for Power Rangers, but there's only 2 movies. Had there been a 3rd movie, it would have been on my list.
Yeah, I think there's more Power Rangers series than there are Heart Children. I think that's what happened. Pretty close. But yeah, actually, the running joke I heard at one point was there are more Power Rangers TV series than there were Pete Rose baseball hits.
Wow.
So, Dude, Saban milked that thing, milked that teat for every drop it could, man. Holy crap.
And are still milking.
I know. Like it will never die. It'll be the cockroaches, the Twinkies, and the Power Rangers when the true apocalypse hits.
And as long as Jason David Frank is still alive, he will still come back and play fucking Tommy Oliver anytime he gets that phone call. Because he is on good terms with those producers. And if they know that he will fucking draw ratings, because the Green Ranger, White Ranger is arguably the greatest Ranger in Ranger history. I defy anybody watching right now to argue me on that, goddammit. But anytime his phone rings and the Saban producers are like, hey, we want you to come back and be Tommy Oliver, he's there. Because that's money in the bank.
Yep. Tim Davis points out.
That's true, Tim. They did do a reboot film. I remember seeing it, so that does make 3, but at the end of the day, there's still only 2 because we don't count Turbo. We don't count that movie.
Yeah. God himself said no, so we go along with the Almighty, okay?
But you're right. They did do a reboot film, and a lot of people shat on that reboot film.
They did, yeah.
I honestly think those people just can't handle storytelling.
Right.
Their problem was that there wasn't a whole lot of time of Ranger action. No.
Right.
They Breakfast Clubbed the first 2 hours of that movie and made you care about those characters and why they became friends.
Yep.
Then once they were all really friends and were on the same team, they got the power to morph.
Right.
They had to care about each other first, and they told a good story. They wanted it to be like the old TV show where 5 minutes of bullshit in Angel Grove, they're getting zapped to the freaking command center and bestowed power coins, and here, all of a sudden, you can turn to this character and go fight. No.
Yeah. No.
They told a good story.
What I'm thinking happened with the reboot is they wanted to reboot the entire franchise and go forward. And I don't care what franchise you talk about. The first story of any new franchise or reboot is exposition on celluloid. You have to tell the story. That's why, as great as the Star Wars saga is, A New Hope takes a minute to get going.
Yeah.
Like, A New Hope. I mean, granted, you have right away, the whole, thing with the Tusken Raiders and Obi-Wan early on, but it really doesn't get cooking until the Millennium Falcon takes off from Mos Eisley. So that's a long way in.
Sooner. I think it really starts taking off when Luke discovers that his aunt and uncle are dead, because that's the catalyst for him to go with Obi-Wan, to go to Mos Eisley, to find Han Solo, to go get Leia. It takes that moment for everything else to really get rolling.
Right. So, and even still, that's still a good chunk in.
Yeah, that's probably at least to the 30-minute mark.
So, you have to tell the story. It's as simple as that. So, okay, so we have a Star Wars reference again. So now we have to talk about Sid. And we have to talk about, what's the other running joke on our shows?
The broken leg is definitely the big one.
Okay. I'll think about it later.
We'll work it in.
Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of a good thing that Sid wasn't a popular character in 1977, because his broken leg would have made a great piece of bone work in the Uncle and Aunt Beru boneyard area. That would have been awesome. So there you go. Anyway, there we go. I got it in. Leave me alone. Okay, so but yeah, Star Wars takes and again, people are gonna do Antichrist moment. The first Superman movie, that whole goddamn film was exposition. Okay, like, oh my god, Christopher Reeve. It takes forever to see Christopher Reeve. Like, jeez, there's that. And, of course, Marlon Brando dialogue, you have to, let him talk for at least 6 hours to get anything, worth condensing. So there's that. But Man of Steel, oh my God.
Yeah.
Man, again, I like Man of Steel myself because I'm a Superman fan, but the people that have been on the Marvel teat for so long are like, oh, we have DC. Oh my God, this is taking forever. Man of Steel's it's a hard sell. And if you're not a hardcore DC and hardcore Superman, it ain't happening.
No. I
So
was bored to tears by it.
yeah,
And I like Henry Cavill as Superman.
I do too.
Dare I
So-
say that he is the favorite Superman that I have actually watched movies for. No knock to Christopher or George Reeve, but I have never made it through an entire Christopher Reeve Superman movie.
Really? Wow.
I
Well,
actually
I mean,
made it through Man of Steel, and then I love him in Bat versus Superman. He was
Right.
good when he finally reemerged in Justice League.
yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Uh,
But Henry Cavill is a damn good Superman.
Yeah, I think the thing with reboots or redos or whatever is, today's producers, today's whatever, tend to get grittier, right? Like the Star Trek universe post 2009, there's some dark shit. Like it's, and what's funny is Discovery and Picard both take place in the Prime universe, but they are very un-Roddenberry, both of them. And the Kelvinverse movies, the 3 movies with Chris Pine, there is no way Gene would have been anything about that. There's no freaking way.
Yeah. I want to just pause you for a second because I know we're getting way off of wrestling topic, and this was a wrestling show we were doing wrap up on.
That's okay.
If there's anybody out there, let me just say again, that wants to ask a wrestling question or mention another wrestler that we may have forgotten on our lists that should have been world champion, please throw them in the comments. Jeff will pin them. We will discuss them. We apologize a little bit for going off on this diatribe. Anyway, my biggest regret as far as the Power Rangers one is that they left the new movie open in the post-credit scene for Tommy to come. And because it underperformed, we're not going to get to see the Tommy character in a new movie because they're probably not going to do a sequel.
Right. Exactly. I'm creating the banner that way we can add this up while we're BSing.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. So, all right, there's that.
There we go.
Okay. So, Tim Davis has a couple comments. I love it.
Okay.
I hope the new Ghostbusters film is good. Golly, I do too. Because
they're going back to the original cast, minus Harold Ramis, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. But everybody else is supposed to be back.
Right.
The biggest crapshoot question is, will Rick Moranis appear?
Yeah.
And I pray that he does.
Yeah.
He started to dabble a little bit more into stuff after his retirement for good reason.
Well, yeah.
For those of you out there in TV land that may not know why, Rick Moranis retired from movies because his wife passed, and he felt a duty to have to stay at home and take care of his kids.
Yep.
Because that was what he would do while he was out making movies. That's why he only had done voice roles really in the early 2000s. Brother Bear, Brother Bear 2. He's only done that type of stuff since then. But now his kids, much like the Garth Brooks situation when he retired, kids are older, they're grown, he can go back to work. He's been entertaining some offers. I hope he appears in the new Ghostbusters movie because Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, and Sigourney Weaver are all supposedly confirmed to come back.
Lord, I apologize for this one here, and you're the pigs in New Guinea. Amen. You just CGI Ghost. It's
I lost you for
moving
a
on.
second.
Oh, I said it's 2020. It's Ghostbusters. Can the CGI Harold in as a ghost?
Could.
Again, probably poor taste, but I'd pop for it. I would.
Or at the very least, use his image on a picture, either in the Ghostbuster office or on like a lamppost or something, missing, and a picture of him.
Right. just so he's in the movie. Yeah. Because you know what? Again, I will tout this forever. Peter Cushing in Rogue One. Damn, that was good.
Yeah.
So, all right. And Tim Davis also points out Wonder Woman was okay. Again, we mentioned the DC verse in our upcoming production of franchises, and Linda Carter is Wonder Woman even at 485 years old. So I love Gal Gadot, but
do not get me started on that goddess. Wonder Woman was better than okay. Wonder Woman was essentially DC's version of telling the Captain America tale. Let's be real. But Gal Gadot is so freaking gorgeous in that movie.
yes,
I could sit here and just watch a Wonder Woman marathon with her as that character. I cannot wait for Wonder Woman 84 to finally get released.
right.
Unfortunately, COVID has put a damper on that for the time being. But once it does hit theaters, it is going to kick Captain Marvel's ass to the curb like it was a hooker on Hollywood Boulevard.
We saw her, Julia. Anyway, so Tim's wrestling question. Yay! If you could redesign a championship belt, which one would it be?
You know what?
Current champion. But let me. Current championships or past championships, Tim? Let's go ahead and throw that out there. And while you're throwing it out there, if I'm going with current, I gotta go with that god awful Intercontinental Championship belt.
Really?
Yes, really, because honestly, taking away the classic white strap 90s style IC with the hot mess that they're presenting now that Sammy had to vacate, not a fan. Not a fan at all.
See, and I saw a picture of that belt for the first time not that long ago, and I was like, you know what? I kind of like this. I kind of like it because it's got that old school flavor to it. Simple, old school vibe. Like you could have seen, had we not had that shaped Intercontinental Championship that we had in the 80s and the 90s, you could have seen somebody like a Randy Savage holding a belt that looked like that, or a Bret Hart, or a Shawn Michaels, somebody that a prestigious Intercontinental Champion. You could have seen that over their shoulder or around their waist.
See, I am so
look at that.
Yeah. See, I am so a old school, stick in the mud, stuck in my ways traditionalist. I was mad when they gave Rocky the oval belt. I was like, nah, man, that's not my IC. Nah. But then again, I was also bitching about the Attitude Eagle and the other ones. So, and it's and Tim says he wants current as the answer. So I did good there. What do you think? What would you? Again, you don't watch the current as much as I do, but which current championship belt would you scrap and redo?
Well, I'm not sure what they look like these days, but I'd probably do something with the tag straps. Because I've always thought that tag belts could be a little bit better than what I've always seen them as. The best tag belt that I ever think I saw was the Raw era tag team championship when they had different ones on Raw and SmackDown.
So not the classic ones that transferred to Attitude Era, but the early brand extension Raw belts.
Yeah.
The ones that like Jericho and Christian held and Kane and Hurricane. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry in advance. The infamous picture of Chris with that belt, that Raw tag belt. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. There you go. Sorry, Chris. It just happened to, that I actually didn't mind those belts either.
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah.
But I always thought that the tag belts could be something more than what they always were.
Right.
So I'd probably do something with the tag straps. Plus, I've always kind of been a fan of tag wrestling.
Which is funny because, I'm not. So it's, again, if it's not 1-on-1 or actually tagged 2-on-2, I don't mind. It's just when it gets, 3, 4, 5 teams, it's like, okay, it's just too many ingredients in the chili pot. It's like, okay, for me. Yeah. So, Uh, and honestly, as far as current belts, again, the IC, I would definitely say I would sell a kidney to pay for the cause to replace that damn US strap and bring back the 1991 born WCW US title design for WWE.
Well, and if we're going as far as belts just in general here, I wish that there's two particular belts that I have seen images of that were created to be on TV at some point that never
Right.
made it onto television. That I wish had made it on TV because I thought they actually looked pretty fucking cool.
Okay.
The first one was designed, I want to say, in about 95. And it was the King of the Ring Championship belt.
Oh,
There were
yeah.
actually pictures of Mabel with that belt because
Right.
I think he actually owns it now.
Yeah, I think what happened was
time of his King of the Ring.
I think King Mabel commissioned that with Reggie. That was for him.
But I really wish that had been something on TV because I like the look of it.
Right. Oh, it's a great look. Yeah.
And the other is the Brahma Bull belt. Coming off
Which is
the
now a
heels of
thing.
the Smoking Skull belt.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen the Brahma Bull belt make it to television.
I agree. I mean, people are texting me. They're two chicken shits not posted in the room, but they're texting me. What's the King Mabel belt? So, bear with me. Let me see.
You're gonna try and find a picture so you can post it.
I am. So King Mabel. And by the Tim Davis says, for me, it's the WWE Universal Championship. The thing is with that is if you redesign the Universal, you have to redesign the other ones because they all look the same. So that's kind of silly. Okay, there it is. I got it. There's that one.
Because I just saved it.
Yep, I got it. All good.
Okay.
He's all good. I fix it momentarily. Okay, we'll do that one too. Let's just give a little different appeal there. Any other ones? Okay, that's good. All right. Yeah, the Universal Championship, again, if you redesign it, basically the Universal and WWE Championships have the same basic concept design. So if you change one, you have to change both. I don't mind the network era logo being the center plate. Again, I'm in the minority in having crapped on John's spinner title. I didn't mind that title so much. But
I didn't mind when
The Rock replaced it in 2013 with the...
I didn't mind as much when he did it with the US belt, but I did kind of mind it when he did it with the WWE belt.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll concede that.
Because the US belt was a secondary championship. It was more his gimmick at the time. He was doing the rap. He was doing that stuff. The spinner went with it. Pretty much almost as soon as he won the WWE title, he stopped the freestyling. Only brought it back on special occasions when he really had to take a dig at someone, like when he had his program with The Rock.
Yep.
But for the most part, that part went away, so he should have just ditched the spinner, kept the WWE Championship the way it was.
Yeah. Now, okay, there's different opinions on this belt. What do you think of the Undisputed Eagle, the one from 2002 to 2005?
I didn't mind it. So you're talking about the Undisputed strap from Brock to JBL, right?
Well, from Hunter to JBL, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because I know that the belt changed a little bit because when Hunter got it, it was still F, and by the time Brock got it, they had gone to E.
Right.
So there was the version 1 and the version 2.
Yeah. Right, but the same basic layout. Yeah.
I like that one. I owned that one for the longest time. You remember?
I did. As do I. I own it now. So
I like that belt.
Yeah, the only one I owned that I don't own now that I regret not owning anymore is the 10 pounds of gold.
The one I regret not owning
That hurts me.
is my NWA title.
Yeah, exactly. 10 pounds of gold. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's tragic that we had to sell ours. It's awful.
Especially with all the autographs mine had.
Right. What's funny is mine now has Colt, Ada. I'm pretty sure Josh got Dusty to sign that belt. It's like something that I touched, Dusty touched. Like, I don't know why these pictures aren't saving, so bear with me. What's that?
So Dusty was the second signature on mine.
I know. I remember that.
Obtained.
I remember that story. I remember.
Comics.
Oh, geez, good old 5-star. What the hell? Second, sorry about that. Come on.
No worries.
On live. I'm getting texts from the Michigan portion of the fandom. So, anyway, yeah, I like Indigo. People tend to poop on it, but I really enjoy the design, and I dare say I liked it more than the universally loved Attitude Eagle, personally.
I agree.
But it's again, much like our lists that are coming up in the next few weeks, subjective. That's crazy. I did get your picture of the Brahma belt. I think people know what the Brahma Bull belt looks like because we sell it on the shop now, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is awesome that, a conceptual belt of the all right, we better capitalize and make that green off it. Because God forbid they pass up a money opportunity.
Exactly.
I think that. So I want this one. Yes. All right, here we go. So here is the aforementioned Nelson Frazier Jr. commissioned King Mabel belt. Here's picture one. Maybe. There it is. First, I'll throw it at the comment because the screen's too busy. Come on. There we go. All right. There's that one. So that's, again, you don't see King Mabel. I think, like you said, I think, Jay, that the intention was to make it a permanent fixture of the tournament. So that would have been cool. There's the second one that we have that I was able to find. And here's a close-up of the center strap, the centerpiece, which that's gorgeous.
Thank you. Like, that is an amazing championship. If they had made that for mass sale when I was a wrestling fan, I would have bought that shit.
Hell yeah, dude.
That would have been my belt that I had rocked everywhere.
Hell to the yeah, absolutely. It was again what could have been, right? You look back and think, what have they done this? What have they done that? But unfortunately, hindsight is 20/20, and it's not always reliable.
Nope.
So, question here from Alyssa Stanley. I'm trying to think. Unfortunately, Alyssa has trouble. I'm even having trouble with it. Has trouble with coherent comments, but I'll do my best here, so I apologize. I think lost importance, turned heel now. Everybody does it. Went did great babyface since Daniel Bryan yes movement. Okay, I'm gonna.
Okay, I think what she's saying is do you think the importance of a heel turn isn't as important anymore because everybody turns heel and face so quickly? The way they built in having had the yes movement to pull the trigger and turn him heel the way they did after all that I think that's what she's trying to get across is, has the importance of a heel turn been lost?
I think if done right, no. And she mentions Daniel. Daniel Bryan's heel turn was phenomenal against AJ, ironically enough. I didn't mean to have that pun, but it worked out that way. Yeah, like the low blow and the running knee and the look on his face like, uh-oh, that's the American Dragon, kids. Here we go. And then
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't.
think,
And then it wasn't. It was this completely different evolution of the character. I was like,
yeah,
damn.
I'm a sucker for a good heel turn,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
especially when I don't see it coming.
Yep.
You know, one of the best ones that I can think of, and yes, I'm going to leave wrestling for a minute to go to movies. I always go back to Hans's turn in Frozen.
Oh,
You
God.
don't see it coming. He is such a gentleman for Anna and by her side trying to protect the kingdom. So when she shows up freezing to death and he leans in and caresses her, oh, Anna, if only somebody loved you. Oh,
I do not exaggerate
legit.
one moment when I say JJ almost lost his television because of that moment.
And wrestling has done it before too. Wrestling has built to some brilliant turns. And I think that's part of what lost me as a fan is that everything was becoming so goddamn predictable.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if I sat down in front of my TV on a Monday night and started fresh, since it's predominantly a bunch of people I haven't seen on television before, and tried again, I might get sucked in. But based off of what I've heard you and Statboy and others tell me about the current product, probably not.
Yeah.
But especially back in the height of the Attitude Era, the way they built heel turns and baby face turns and everything. I mean, they teased us for about 3 months before we finally got the DX reunion.
Yeah.
You know, with both of them throwing the crotch chop at one point during their matches at Mania, and then just the slow build to finally getting DX. And that was a babyface turn they slow built.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's so funny is, you know, it's one of those, and I'm gonna transition from one topic to the other here, but I'll keep it
Okay.
in the same relevance.
It's a good question, Alyssa.
It's a wonderful question. I greatly appreciate it now that I understood what the hell was being said, because my brain just did not compute that together. So I appreciate JJ translating. That was awesome. I will never forget that moment where McMahon's up there on the stage and the cheerleaders are just laying into Hunter, and the last cheerleader gets to be called out, and he flies out like he'd been shot from a cannon. And Shawn walks out, and you can hear the crowd like mildly popping. Right, they're getting into it. Shawn looks at Vince, super kicks whichever one it was. I think it was Mitch, and then bolts down that ramp like he was owed money. Right, and just the two of them lay into those guys. They clear the ring, nose to nose, like nose to nose so much they're like leaned like this, like their asses are going like almost out of the ring. They're so in each other's faces, and then boom, the crotch chop. The crowd freaking orgasmed. They cheered so loud, like holy crap! Was that as close to an orgasm in a public setting as I've ever heard? He actually got them to get there. It was amazing. Now, as far as pops go, I don't remember if you were at the show again, so forgive me. But there are two instances, both related to Stone Cold Steve Austin, that are pops that, you know, defy logic. And it's funny because I was watching, I forget what special I was watching, but And there's two banners. There does need to be two banners. So why is it showing? Doesn't make sense. Hmm. There we go. I want to have a ticker. There we go. Thank you. In '98, it was The Rock and Mankind. They taped the show for January 4th, '99, when Mankind won the title. There was this running thing where you can turn the sound off at the end of that match when the schmoz starts and then the glass breaks and Steve walks down. You don't need to hear a single moment of that sound, and you can hear that pop. The Worcester Centrum exploded. Like, came out of their seats, just that shit. An amazing pop. Now, I think you were at the one I'm going to talk about next because it was at Staples Center. It was leading into No Way Out 2003. It was the night that Bischoff was told, either you fight Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was coming back after being gone 8 months, or you kiss Vince McMahon's ass. And they went off the air with that little cliffhanger, if you will. And off air, on Raw at Staples, Bischoff is debating with Vince, I can't do that. And, Vince is starting to, unbuckle the pants because, we never have enough Vince McMahon ass in our lives in Los Angeles. And Vince like looking at us like, like what, because the crowd's totally whatting Bischoff when he's talking, with zero knowledge of what's going to happen next with anybody in the crowd of what's going to happen, right? So Vince starts walking up the ramp and he stops at the announce booth, and I'm with Aaron and Nagel and our buddy Austin, and I'm looking, and I don't know why this happened in my brain, but I never forget it. For a split, like microsecond, the Austin 316 screen displayed. And before I could even let out a yelp of joy, the glass broke, and I'm deaf. Because the Staples Center didn't pop like that again until 9 years later. And you know what I mean, because we was both there for that one too. So, like, holy crap. It was... I rarely, back then, cried at wrestling, but I was in tears. And as was Stat Boy, apparently, because he said so in the chat room. There you go. I'll throw it up there.
We were there.
Oh, man.
I argue you that the Staples Center did not pop that hard again for 9 years, because as loud as that pop was, and yes, I was there for that, the two loudest pops that I can remember that weren't that one.
Okay.
Number one was 2 years after that, WrestleMania 21.
Well, see, I wasn't there, so yeah, but I agree. Yeah.
When Eugene was getting his ass beat and Hulk Hogan came out for the save, that roof exploded.
Yeah, they did.
For a moment, I got swept up in Hulkamania.
Right?
I was never a Hogan fan.
No.
But I got swept up. The second one was the Honda Center.
Yes.
And the return of The Rock being announced as the enforcer for the match. Or the host for Mania.
As the guest host of Mania. Yeah.
Not the enforcer, right, but the host of Mania. Me, Aaron, and Sandy, and I think Mikey, I don't recall, but me, Aaron, and Sandy for sure, in the last row of the arena.
Which, if you've ever been to the pond, you way the hell up there.
And they make the announcement, now we're going to bring out the guest host for WrestleMania. And the lights went out. And there's that hesitation moment. You're like, who is it? Who is it? And then there was that electric zap. going all around the arena. Zzz, zzz, zzz. I turned to Aaron. I was like, "It's the fucking Rock." And the music hit, and that place came unglued, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Like watching at home, I was living with you guys. Oh no, not yet. I was halfway staying, but I wasn't living there full time yet. But I was at the apartment, and it was like, holy shit! It was a cool moment, and Mikey was there too. He says so himself. So there you go. Thank you. I threw it up there earlier. Scott Campbell, we're glad to be back together. It has been far too long since I've laughed this much in a non single topic setting. So it's cool. I dig it the most. There was something else I wanted to throw up there too that I didn't.
And it's
Oh,
nice
here we
to
go.
be back, Scott. Thank you for enjoying it so much.
Dig it. Mikey with a current topic, non-wrestling. I do apologize. People are refusing to wear masks at grocery stores and such. Now, before you get going, because I know you about to get going.
Because I'm gonna go on a Stat Boy style rant. That's what he wants. He's gonna provoke me to do a Stat Boy rant here, just so he can
Definitely.
get you to put up the shirt again. Stat Boy approved.
Absolutely. So,
all marketing on Mikey's plan. We think he's lost his brains every now and again. No. This is all the genius that is Stat Boy trying to get the marketing going.
That's right. I'll say my piece first, then I'll lay out. If you are so ignorant and so arrogant and so selfish that you can go into a retail establishment that is open to the public and feel you don't need to protect other people from your saliva, your germs, your whatever, you're a dickhead. Stay the fuck home. Okay.
For those of you that do not know, I am an essential employee through all of this. I work for Wally World, aka Walmart. I see some shit on a daily basis that makes me lose hope in humanity.
Thank you. Oh.
To the point where me and my associates have even started joking at each other because, as I'm sure you know, with your mom working for the same company, they've recently designed aisles to be one way so that you don't have the side-by-side interaction as much people passing through the aisles.
Right.
But me and my associates have even gone as far as to start making jokes as to being able to easily identify the ones that never grew up watching Sesame Street because they can't read "do not enter," "shop this way" with an arrow pointing the direction they're supposed to be going. As far as the masks go, I personally believe that it's starting to get to be time where some of it needs to be let up some. It's starting to get to the point where live and let live, so to speak. However,
or live and let die, for that matter.
However, companies have rules, and they're there not just for their safety, their associates, their management. They're there for your safety. Because let's be real, if you walk into my store and someone coughs on you because you're not wearing a mask and neither are they, and you contract COVID-19, you're going to sue my company. Because you contracted this virus at my job. So, do yourself a favor. Granted, it's not 100% effective, but do yourself a favor and wear yourself a fucking mask. If the business asks you to, do it. You are not so high and mighty that you can't subject yourself for 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long you need to be in that establishment to get what you need to get and get the fuck out. The minute you get out of the store, if you want to take it off, by all means. take it off. I do as soon as I get to my car. Mask comes off.
Exactly.
Under my turn signal. Hangs there until the next day when I grab it, put it back on to go into work. And that's the bottom line because the Renegade said so. Throw up the t-shirt. Hashtag
That's
Staff
it. So I take away two things. I take away two things from the rant, and I will, as soon as it loads the page to let me do it, I will express. It's funny that you mentioned. Come on, stupid communist piece of shit. Anyway, I'll just go and do that now. There you go. Let's throw it up there, just because it was approved by Statboy. So there you go. Statboy approved rant. Very good. It's funny, early on in your dissertation, if you will, you mentioned that some folks, didn't bother to watch, Big Bird and Kermit the Frog when they were kids because they can't read and they can't count and they can't realize that, they're not 6 feet from each other. They're not, practicing proper social distancing or proper, human etiquette in general in the world we live in. And it's frustrating as hell. I imagine it's more frustrating for you because you see it on the daily. I see it on the news and it bugs the hell out of me. So if for whatever reason you're in a situation where you've never seen Sesame Street, then you, above all people, need a brand new Jeff Meacham Can't Count t-shirt at the Greg Cherry brand on Teespring, because as we know from episodes 1 and 2 of WTC, Jeff can't count. So check it out, and there you go. All right.
Yeah.
If Mikey can mark it, so can I.
And hopefully the next time we do one of these, we'll be able to promote the Renegade t-shirt. That'll hopefully be designed by then.
Yes, I need to definitely get
It
on
is
the
coming, folks.
yeah.
If you want it, it is coming.
It is coming. And Mikey liked your rant, so there you go. But it was calm, which was surprising.
My inner Jake the Snake, who was on my list of people that had never been world champion, coming back full circle for while we're here today. I channeled my inner.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I didn't want to, brother. Oh yeah, brother. My rant. Yeah. Unnecessary.
Oh, not being a Hogan fan, let me throw it out there. Do yourself a solid if you have an opportunity. It's on YouTube, just the promo itself, but I'll give WWE the plug. What the hell? Super Brawl 5. Hogan versus Vader, his pre-match promo.
Okay.
The Guinness World Record for the mention of the word brother is well set. And no, I'm not kidding.
Okay.
I think it's on YouTube, as Hulk Hogan says, world record of brother. It's, put it this way. I was listening to Conrad Thompson and Eric Bischoff cover Super Brawl 5. They didn't do the whole show long form. They just were talking about the show, bits and pieces of it. Conrad stopped the show, threw on the network video of Hogan's promo, and listening to him and Eric laugh through the promo, I peed my pants almost. Had I not dashed to the bathroom when I did, it would have been a laundry situation immediately. It was crazy. It's funnier than hell. So, recommended enough. So there you go. Leave me alone. Everybody's texting me. Yeah, we are getting into far later than I wanted to. It's already halfway through SmackDown, and dinner's on the way. So let me go ahead and do my wrap-up thing, as I do on the WWE Network. Let's see.
This show in of itself has gone an hour longer than the actual episode today.
Right. Well, again, that was intended to be a video. So, whoopee. But it is what it is, as we say. So, again, let me throw it out there. Tomorrow, I don't know, but I think we're going to see Go for the Pin on the Jeff Meacham Network. So you can go ahead and definitely check those boys out tomorrow. Probably around, I think I'm going to shoot for noon Eastern, like I have been doing, because it's just awesome. And it's easy to edit for me, and I can get it up, at 9 o'clock my time, and all is well. So there's that. You can go to teespring.com/store/Jeff-Meacham-network. I need to change the URL. It's a pain in my ass. And buy the shirt. Meachmania is running wild. You got the various designs there. There will be more added to that in the coming weeks, hopefully. Again, with Greg on the ball and whatnot, we'll see how things play out. If you missed yesterday's DQ review, I'm usually on every Thursday on the YouTube channel with No DQ, so you can check it out. Next Friday, of course, the Wrestling Trivia Challenge in this time slot, although we're not going to go near as long because between the trivia and the wrap-up, we're usually done by 5 in theory. So there's that. You can find the Renegade next to me on Instagram at the Renegade JJ Williams. Don't forget that, by all means. Anything else you'd like the world to know before we say so long, kids?
Well, I mean, you just gave everything else their plugs. Let's not forget that in 2 weeks, Jeff and I will be back on the Jeff Meacham Network with our top 10 franchises to be discussed.
There you go.
Hopefully, we will have the video up as well if there's not technical difficulties again. But at the very least, you'll be able to hear the audio on the different platforms that the Jeff Meacham Network can be found on.
And you can find us anywhere because, not only are we on YouTube at youtube.com/Jeff Meacham, but you can also find us on Anchor, which translates to Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and a hell of a lot more podcasts than I can keep up with, quite frankly. We are like horse shit. We are everywhere, folks. So stay tuned for that. We appreciate you watching today. We will see you guys next week for Trivia Challenge, in 2 weeks for Dads on Wrestling, and always on Wrestling with the franchise list. We'll see you next week right here on the Jeff Meacham Network.